Thanksgiving, a whole bunch of produce and some other things from my kids' grandmother. She just had from my kids' grandmother, the dad's mom. She had a whole bunch of extras on hand. So because I had some stuff here, and I know definitely we're not going to get through it, I started prepping things we're not going to make these waste here. Earlier I did a video on making french fries, so we used some of the potatoes that she gave for dinner, and then I made fries for the freezer. And now I'm going to just cut. I have some spinach I'm going to cut up. I have a bell peppers, red bell pepper, and then I have a whole, I actually has a big bag of onions that I need to get chopped up and frozen. They're the smaller ones, and there's a lot of those. And I have some onions that she gave. So I already used some for seasoning the chicken today. And so what I'm going to do is make an onion and pepper mix for the freezer, and then I'm going to cut up some spinach and put that into a freezer bag, because I know we're not going to get through it and it's going to spoil. This is really good for also for smoothies, to put in eggs. It's good to have it fresh, but I don't have a plan for it. I didn't know I was going to get it, so I'm just going to pop it into the freezer. I'm probably going to chop it up, and just how I did the fries, lay it out so that it's easier. I can pick through the freezer bag, and that it doesn't all freeze together. So I've already washed it, but I'm going to set it out and dry it as well, and then freeze it, like flash, put it in the freezer so it dries almost separate, and then put it into a freezer bag so we can just grab and take from there. For the peppers, if you don't have one of these, I would suggest you get one. So I used to see all over TikTok it's more like a snap. So this is similar. My daughter got it for me from Amazon. There's a whole bunch of blades that you get with it, and then it goes into this container. So what I'm going to do is for the pepper, to make my life easier, for the pepper and the onions, I'm just going to chop, and then instead of, I mean, I could do it by hand as well, but I thought, why not just use that? It'll be quicker, less time, and I'll be done with it. And then, because I know the onions are going to make me cry. So once I get that in the bag, same kind of thing I'm going to do. I don't want them all to freeze in clumps, so that it's hard to, if I don't need the whole, bag, then I can just use some. And I'm freezing these flat, so that again takes up less space in my freezer. I do need to do a deep freezer reorganization and clean out. So some of these things that I'm prepping now that I can throw in there. My thought process behind this is, if you can get it on sale, you know you're going to use it in a reasonable time. My kids always say, like, I love to freeze things, and you know, it's there for a year. Like when I do a clean out, I'm like, oh, what's at the bottom of the freezer? So this is what I'm trying not to do, is to put them in places I can see, and then I can actually incorporate into my meals. Perfect example, I had that same big bag of onions that I have in the kitchen right now. I started to cut them up because, again, I wasn't using them. I had planned to share them, and that didn't happen. So after a while, it's like I chopped them all up. I didn't even have this chopper. I chopped them all up, put it in the freezer. And then one time we were making ackee and saltfish, and I didn't have any onions, and my daughter reminded me about the onions that I had in the freezer a few months back. Again, it was winter time. I didn't want to go out to the store. It was a Saturday morning. I just wanted to be in, and luckily I had that on hand. I could just pull that out. We already had pepper, sweet pepper, so that was good. I was just missing the onions, and you couldn't make that without the onions, so I was so happy that I had that. So this is my whole thought process, is to have things on hand that you get at a a fair price, because things are expensive, and sometimes when you need it or want to use it, it's a lot of money to go out to the store. And if you have it here, you're saving on gas, and you bought it at a discounted price. And yeah, so if I clean out my freezer, I'll have a place. My goal is to have a place that I can see what's there, and how I can incorporate them into my meals. Here we go. So I'm just gonna peel these onions and start cutting up the pepper, and then I'm gonna chop. Fine yet, it's just for freezing purposes. So I put the piece of onion up there. My eyes are already watering. I put the piece of onion there, and I just, so I'm not cutting, spending a lot of time cutting. Like I said, if you want to do it smaller, you can do that as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other 3. Oh, my eyes watering. Whew. So there you go. It took me not even a minute after it was peeled to get it down to these chunks, and that's fine for me. This is just for cooking, and I'm good. And I also could finely chop it if I need to after I take it out of the freezer, but this is fine for me. So now I'm going to do the pepper, and the reason why I did this combination, I remember my daughter buying from, it was President's Choice, and it was peppers and onions freezer mix in a bag. I don't remember how much it cost, because that was probably about 3 years ago. And I remember pulling out of the freezer because it wasn't finished. She didn't finish it. It was like peppers and onions, but I remember that I cook with peppers and onions. Like when I'm seasoning some things, I put peppers, like I did curry chicken, and I did onions, and I put, again with other seasonings, I also put sweet pepper. So it's a thing that I use, and I'll have it on hand. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this up to have it chopped. Okay, so I just want to demonstrate. This is the size that I cut the pieces basically at, and I'm going to just put it on top here just to make it fit. I could have made it a little bit smaller, but, and then I'm gonna put it on the table so I could just snap it down, and everything goes through basically. Well, there's some a little bit, but everything goes through, and then there, I got my onions and pepper mixed. Yeah, if I had another pepper, I probably would add it, but this is good enough for me. Now all I have to do is put them in a freezer bag. I have one here, and then I have more in the kitchen, but I think it will all fit here. So you got to choose what works for you, what day works for you to do all this. I mean, if it works for you to do a little bit at a time, because sometimes I'm like, oh, I have the time, or I feel like doing it, I just go ahead and do it like during the week. Sundays, especially of late, I've been getting up extra early that I normally would have on a Sunday, and get everything prepped and out of the way, dinner's done, so that I can actually relax for the evening, for the day. And yeah, so you got to do what works for you. Again, you want to have things that save you time, save you money, so that you can focus on other things. Just relax and have a good day. So yeah, I definitely probably would have added more pepper to this, but like I said, I don't have it on hand, and this is good enough. And if I plan in advance, I can just always buy a smaller pepper, or a different, I can always buy another pepper but this is fine. Like I said, a lot of my meals is just some pepper, sweet pepper, and onions. You could add other things in here, maybe green onion. But green onion is so easy to grow. Just in your kitchen, you can just pick it out, like from a, really fresh. You don't need to. But again, if you're making a lot, you don't need to. You can probably add that too. Okay, so now that it's in, I think the next thing that I'm going to do, not this year, maybe next year, or maybe next year, it's depending, is buy not freeze dry, but like a vacuum sealer, because it would probably take more of the air out, and it will definitely it would increase the longevity of these in your freezer. So I would say regular freezer bags probably used within 3 months, and then with the vacuum seal, you probably could maybe 6 months, a year. It will probably increase to that. So here we go. Just stick that into the freezer. I'm gonna freeze it flat, and then yeah, it will fit better into my freezer. The next thing I'm going to do is just chop the spinach up and put that in a freezer. And yeah, I could have stuff with I like spinach to be, I don't like it on its own. I don't like it, like I won't just cook spinach. It's just not me. And so I prefer it to be in something, like really cooked down. So I'm like that with onions too. It has to be really cooked down. And then I'll put it into something, but I'm not a huge spinach eater, so I don't want this to go to waste. But I know I have one daughter who will definitely eat this as well. I'm just going to cut the spinach. I will put these in smoothies. Like I said, eggs. I think that's about it that I'll have this spinach. That's about it. Yeah. Okay, so that was easy. It was already washed. I'm just cutting it. And then I'm going to again put it into a over here. Stock. And I'm going to put it in freezer bags. I think this can hold into one, and then I'm going to put it into the freezer. I'm sitting in my dining room because I don't have a table in my kitchen, and my counters, I don't have a lot of counter space, and I'm cooking and stuff, so there's dishes and pans on the counter. So I thought I'd just do this here while I'm cooking, to show you what I'm doing. So you can you can date it. I'm gonna get a Sharpie and just date it so I know how long it's been in here. So if I get more spinach, I know which ones to use first. Same here. This doesn't have a spot to write on it, but you could just write on it with any kind of marker, just to, like a permanent marker, I guess would be best. And so you know when this was actually frozen, and yeah, use first. So I'm gonna go ahead, put this in the freezer, continue cooking, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. You take care. Bye.